Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand today. Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
And how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling good, nice. Yeah, man, it's getting nice outside again.
Yeah, man. I went to, this past week was nice for me too. Actually, these past 2 weeks, I took 2 weeks off work, which is crazy amount of time. First week, I just did like a bunch of adult shit. I'm working on getting my permit now.
Finally, so right? Now some of these albums can hit different.
Yeah, exactly. All the albums I like listening to, I always get told, they sound better in a whip, and I'm a no, sure enough, soon enough. And so I took the permit test online, and you can take it online now? Did you know that? You got your license ages ago.
I was 16 when I got my
license. Yeah, so I got
my license 20 years ago.
So they let you take it online now, and when you take it online, your FaceTime camera comes on to record you to make sure that you're not cheating.
Really?
Yeah. So I was in a coffee shop, and my light on my computer literally turned red because it started recording me, and I was like, fuck. So I failed the first time. So in the second time, it was you gotta wait 6 hours. So I waited 6 hours. I think I just did it the next day, whatever. Studied a little bit. I still cheated a little bit because I had another tab open. So every now and then I would just look and then I'll type it in. But safe to say I'm one step closer to being official out here.
Okay.
And then, did some other shit too. Went and got my teeth clean. I got my eyes checked and went outside. Yeah, I did a bunch of shit that I just been putting off. And then I went to Detroit to go see my mom, see my brother. Shout out to Z. Hang out with my mom's new boyfriend.
Mama's new boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, no, niggas.
I didn't want to be Jody. So I gave him a shot. We went out for breakfast, and he seems okay. She's trying to push the marriage idea on me, and I'm just at this point, you grown, whether I approve or not is gonna happen if you wanted to. So you just gotta embrace it when they at that stage. So I think for me, I was just listen, my mom is very, very sweet on you. You guys seem to have hit it off really well. And I was saying this in front of my mom, and she's just looking at me. It felt like I was the parent. It felt weird because I was sitting across from them. We was at some breakfast spot, sitting across from them. They both just looking at me, and as I was talking to him, my mom is just eating, not even looking at me, and and I'm you got she's sweet on you, and I like the energy that you guys have together, and this glow that she has is great, and I want you to maintain that and talk to each other if there's ever any. He's if there's any issues, I'll let her know. If she ever has a problem with me, to talk to me or whatever. And I was okay, I can deal with that. And then I asked him a bunch of questions that I needed to know.
You interrogated him?
Yeah, but I didn't want it. I didn't want it to come off like I was interrogating him, though. I just wanted him to. I was trying to get to know him, but it was a speed round because
you
I only had so much time. So I was just asking him a bunch of shit, and he answered, and it seemed like he was genuine and honest. But we'll see how it goes. She's really, really happy, and she's just talking to me about shit that she's never talked to me about before. So this is different for her. Even about traveling. My mom don't travel. She don't go nowhere. She just works and goes home, and
that's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, she's talking about traveling. She's talking about going to. She's like, yeah, we want to go to Jamaica, and I'm like, what? All right,
fuck it,
I support that.
Nice.
But yeah, so spent that time out there. As you saw, I did some touristy stuff. I went to Motown Museum.
Finally, bro.
Yeah. Finally. I went to Motown Museum, but the museum out there is it's interesting because we're so used to walking into museums just when we want and just paying the fee, whatever, and just walking around. But this one, you have to be in a tour group. So you go and they give you hours where you can tour. So like they gave us the time span and was like, we can't just walk in. I was with my friend from high school, Ashley. She's like, yeah, we can't just walk in. And they was like, no, like you have to be in a tour group and we walk you guys around and tell you what you're looking at. And it was like, we don't have time for that. Like
Reg
we just want.
Reg thought it was a trap museum, like T.I. shit.
Yeah, or
they
like
just gonna be able to bumpers just walk around and say whatever the fuck they wanted to, yeah.
Or at the very least, like the fucking MoMA or how we treat the Whitney out here, where we just walk in,
bro, you gotta think like it's a smaller city. It's like that in Atlanta too. If you go to Dr. King's house.
Yeah, okay, so I get that. I get that.
Like those are historical landmarks, and like unfortunately, because of the neighborhoods that those places are in, like the people will vandalize them.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You kind of can't trust your own people in that sense. Unfortunately,
it
sucks. But.
Yeah, and there's like really nice houses in the area too. Like it's crazy that like you'll leave out of the Motown Museum and you look across the street and you just see a regular house, fence, everything, and you just think to yourself like, yo, Berry Gordy was right across the street from your house, like with the Supremes. Like,
bro, think about that. Like, think about what some of those people in that neighborhood probably have seen that like we'll never know about, because obviously musicians are crazy.
Yeah.
So think about all the crazy shit. Think about all the time Smokey Robinson's wife had to run in there and fight a woman that he was cheating on her with.
Yeah, man. I thought about all that type of shit, and like because it's really in a normal ass neighborhood. It's a super normal neighborhood, and just a bunch of touristy shit happens just at that house.
And all of that magic came out of that one little house.
It's crazy. And it had a bunch of memorabilia, so I definitely have to go back. But what about you? What was this past week like for you? I know you guys.
So, if you guys don't know, I'm an actor on Law and Order. I'm a cop in the squadron. Law and Order SVU. I'm Law and Order. And so we wrapped. So this week was the last week of filming. So we wrapped. So we found out that we are renewed for season 25. So that's good. So yay for me, right? Like more paychecks. So that was good news. And then we found out that one of the main characters, Kelly Geddes, is coming back. So that's pretty cool.
Oh shit. Okay.
So she came back, and like it was funny because obviously it was now she was leaving the show. So in the same season, basically she had like we had like a whole going away party for her, like a whole goodbye and everything like that. And then like they got her gifts, y'all. Like that shit was just hilarious to me. Like they did all this farewell shit, and she still came.
She's
in
coming
back.
They
brought her back. Like I don't know if it was like a ratings thing. I don't know if they didn't like the new people that they brought in, but that shit was pretty interesting.
I could see that being a ratings, or like just maybe they pay attention to. I'd imagine a show that big, they pay attention to social media just to see what the traction is like when somebody leaves.
Bro, it wasn't even like. I want to say it hasn't even been that many months, but like it's very. I was like, I mean, I like Kelly. She's very nice. She's very nice to everybody on the show and everything like that. Everybody's nice, but I thought that was hilarious. Like she had a legit going away party. That wasn't planned. It wasn't no shit like when it was like, yeah, we don't know. Like nah, it was thanks for your services. You know, good
farewell, good luck
in your future endeavors. And
is she back?
They brought her ass right on back. They said, hey, bring that ass here, girl.
That's mad funny.
Yeah, but you know, like me, I just worked a lot, and during this time, I've been miserable because we haven't been recording. But we back now. So back here to talk to y'all about some music. But also while we've been going, a lot of stuff has happened. Yeah. What
you had in mind? There's like a lot happened.
I mean, for one, like, and I mean, I guess this is kind of on topic. What's up with Jim Jones?
Bro. Well, it's funny you bring that up because, I mean, obviously, well, you guys don't know, but today we're getting into a Jim Jones album. I like where he's at right now. I like where he's at. I like where he's at right now. I like where he's at right now because he's stirring the pot. His conversation. And then also, for people that aren't familiar with how Jim Jones speaks, I feel like that's just how he talks. When he's passionate about anything, it might sound more harsh than... It's like how the casual listener doesn't know how Joe Budden speaks and how he sounds super passionate and hateful and spiteful about certain shit. And he's not. He's just talking, right? And with Jim, which I think what you're referring to is like these series of clips that keep coming out with him and on Rap Caviar, I think.
Rap Caviar is him, Jinx.
Yeah, shout out to Jinx.
Damn, I forgot the other gentleman's name. I forgot his name. He's pretty prominent on social media. I just can't think of his name right now. But it's two other gentlemen on Rap Caviar. And I guess the two most jarring things to me was we already talked about the him and Jay-Z thing, but him saying that Pusha T doesn't belong in the top 50 was wild to me. I was just shocked. I was like, damn. And then I realized, like, people from Harlem, I'm from Harlem, and I know people from Harlem just think that, like, nobody, like, they think, like, nobody dresses better than us. Everything that we do, like, is, like, the trendsetters. And I understand it. Like, I get it, but it's, like, it's just, like.
Now, Pusha's been really quiet since this shit came out. You think he's going to say anything?
Yeah, he's going to say something in the rap.
Like, around album time?
Because it's like, you don't know, the frustrating thing with Jim Jones is that there is no back and forth on wax.
Yeah.
He sees you at Prime 112 in Miami and there's fisticuffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I also even let you guys in, like, on another, like, little, like, tidbit. Like, they have common people in their circles.
Oh, okay.
Pusha T fucks with a lot of Harlem niggas that fuck with Jim Jones.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So behind the scenes.
And then maybe like it's Jim, like maybe they friends and Jim are just poking fun at him.
Yeah. But it was he was using some very like direct words,
unfriendly words.
Some very unfriendly words. But again, I think that's just chalked up to like how he speaks about shit. You like the history of this pod, guys. Like I've talked about how I feel about Pusha T. I don't hate Pusha T. I don't hate Pusha T.
I know.
I like Pusha T.
I have clips of you saying very nice things.
Yes,
about Pusha T.
Thank you.
I actually almost did it to you, but I was like, you know what? I almost did it. I actually compiled clips of you praising Pusha T and saying how great some of his music is.
Exactly. So I like Pusha T, but I can be very constructive, right? So when I listen to Push, I listen to him from a certain angle where I compare him to other coke rap that I like and that I enjoy. It's not that Pusha is just coke rap. You know, that's the majority of his content. But it's not that he's just that. When I listen to Push, I just don't feel like I'm getting the full essence of what I need. I don't know why. It just always feels incomplete. And I've been saying that for years. Always feels incomplete.
I feel like you just do it to spite me.
No, I've been pretty consistent with that. Like, it's just,
I mean, it's been consistent. Like in our friendship, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's out of spite.
Nah, man, that's years and years. You think I'm that spite? Like that's over 10 years of just spite. That's what you think I've been doing?
I just think you just get a kick out of it. Because you know how you worked up about shit.
Nah, man, I like Push. It's just that, and I said this in our chats the other day, and I'm not as active in our comic book chat, but shout out to my guys. But I had time that day, and I was just I saw.
I was just curious. I was like, yo, what's good with you?
Yeah, I was like,
yo, never talk in this chat.
I was posted up at the post office too. That's why it was so funny. I was at the post office, right? And it was a long ass line, and these guys was just going in about Pusha T, and they was saying how they was talking about Jim Jones or whatever in the top 50, and I was like, yo, low key Jim is cooking. He's saying some shit now. Whether or not the top 50, I can't debate that part of it. I'm just talking about the wording because I haven't actually listed my top 50. I know you did.
Yeah, I did.
You listed your top 50.
I did it.
I haven't actually listed mine. I wouldn't doubt that Pusha would make my top 50. I just would have to list it, and that's a lot of work.
It's not as hard as you. I'll be honest with you. I was pretty intimidated to do it, but it's not as intimidating as you think. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah. But so let me name what I didn't like in the debate. What I didn't like that I saw people doing was they was taking like Jim Jones's criticism, they was taking that as an opportunity to knock Jim Jones as a rapper and to knock his catalog when two things can be separate. He's a fan of rap and he can just be sharing his opinion. It doesn't mean that he's saying his albums are better than Pusha's. He's just a fan of rap.
Well,
he
didn't list himself.
Yeah,
so I'll give Jim that.
He's just talking about rap, and it's just like, bro, like you guys don't have to group in these two things. Like it's separate. You don't have to talk about Jim Jones as a rapper in order to hear his opinion. Like it's just that shit. It was just irrelevant to me, and I kept seeing that.
Okay, Regg.
But I say all that to say this today, actually, because this is actually a good lead-in into the album that we're doing today. Today we're getting into Jim Jones' second studio album, titled Harlem.
I got one other chatty thing to ask before that.
What's up?
Do you think that he's jealous of Cameron and Mace's new rekindled friendship?
Absolutely. I think I don't know if he's jealous, but I know he probably feels away. Well, I guess that could be jealousy. Yeah, he feels away. He feels away. And it's been so many years, and they seem like they never fell off. Like the chemistry is just like strong.
Well, I think that there's a difference. You know how there's like levels of friendship with some of your friends? Where like some of your friends like you like tolerate things like and like you guys can like do things and like nothing to really like affect it, the bond or whatever like that. But then like you could tell like even like when like how Mace handles like their beefs. Like with him and Mace, like they argue like they're equal.
Yeah.
But when he gets in his bag with Jim Jones, Cameron is the only person I've never heard Jim Jones disrespect.
Yeah.
Like he always kind of like comes from like a position like, yo, I noticed you put me where I'm at. Like, I know my place, but like, yo, come on, like, stop this.
Yeah.
And then Jim will just like, he'll say like slick shit, but like he won't ever like be like, yo, tell Cam I said suck my dick. Like,
he's not. Yeah, you're right. There's calibers, there's levels to
there's
disrespect.
levels to it, and it's just you like very unique to me because I'm just like, damn. Like you watch that It Is What It Is show with Cam and Mace. With Cam and Mace, and like it looked like I'm like yo, we've been robbed of some amazing content.
Yeah.
Like them performing together.
Yeah.
Them, you know what I'm saying? Like you can like tell like okay, like Mace absolutely Cameron absolutely knows Mace is his equal.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah, it's great.
You think it's on like ESPN and all of them? You think it's on their radar? Like they're watching to see like.
I think if they take out like some of the stuff that like certain things that they say like it won't rock.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean as far as like I don't mean as far as like I guess what I mean is, do you think it's on their radar like as far as something that's coming up that they need to be aware of?
I don't think so, but I'll say this much: I think on Inside the NBA. Because Shaq is just that kind of person, he would like lean over to Ernie and be like, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
Hey, these two guys, friends of mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. But no, I think, and you're right. I think what they have right now is dope, and I think are they exclusively with Revolt now, or are they working on a deal?
I believe like Cam's working on a deal because he keeps having meetings with Puff, which was actually really funny because the other night. They posted a video together and Cam's fly was down.
Yeah,
so and Mace reported. Yeah, most and I was like, yo, this is a crazy AO right here. But I'm like, as much as these guys play the pause game, Mace was like, I did not give you permission to have your zipper down.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, oh, you mad because he with your ex? And I was like, yo.
That's insane. But I think them being with Revolt actually will have them keep the essence. Like they will keep the essence
Revolt's
of the show.
They will, but Revolt is just not on enough channels.
No, it's not.
If I'm Cameron, I just focus on YouTube. Personally.
Yeah. I think on YouTube, like on some everyday struggle shit, for sports would be fire. Just maintain that and
do it. And hopefully they can get in the studio enough days and stuff like that. Because I think that's also like a thing. Like, cause like now like they doing it for the love, but like it's hard to get to the studio.
Yeah,
to absolutely. Do that because I think that's daily shit.
Yeah,
like, like right now, like they.
I think they do it weekly now.
Yeah, it's something like weekly, like, and it still works because it's like they still have moments that go viral and shit. But like Cameron and Mario Chalmers having like this
back and forth where it's gonna be. Is it gonna be a game? Is it not? Like, is it But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, so we can get into this album. So, Jim Jones. Harlem, Diary of a Summer, came out in 2005. It was Jim's second studio album. It was led by the single Baby Girl.
Yep.
And then also it had a pretty big single. The follow-up single was Summer with Miami featuring Trey Songz, which peaked at number 78 on the charts. Which isn't like big, but like at that time, that was a success for Jim. Yep. And especially with him not being taken that seriously as a rapper yet, because everybody was still kind of, not kind of, but they was definitely still championing Cam. You had some producers on here. You had the Troublemakers. You had Pete Rock, Duke Productions, Develop, Zurich, and then you had some features on here. You got Max B, of course. You got Jewels, J.R. Ryder, Hell Rel, and Denise Weeks, 40 Cal, Paul Wall, Puff. Yeah. How do we feel about this album overall? How do you feel about it?
I like really live with this album. So this is like this was the first summer I was in college, and like I was like obsessed with like moving back to New York because it was so fun to be outside at that time, and like all of it, like everything was changing. The way we was dressing, it was like a combination thing. The way we was dressing was changing. The way the music was sounding was changing because like the South was like on the come up. This was like the bubbling of the South about to take over, right? Like so that summer it was just like it was basically like I was an adult. I was on my own. I was out the house, and I remember like hearing this album so much, especially because of where I'm from. It was like amazing, and then on top of that, I don't know why, but everybody, like all of my friends in Atlanta, loved everything that was Dipset anything. So this album also got a lot of spins in Atlanta as well, believe it or not. So and like Jim Jones, like a lot of people, especially this project. So when Jim Jones got opened up somewhere in Miami, remember that was right after Jay-Z had retired, and he made the song, the opening verse with Dear Summer, and everybody was like, these are absolutely shots at Jay-Z. So, and that was like after like Cameron had like left Rockefeller, but this is before Cameron made You Gotta Love It with Max B. So Cameron was like so the fact that like Jim Jones of all people decided to take shots at Jay-Z, and he kept going and going until his next project where he got Ballin', and it was such a big song that Jay-Z remixed it and responded. Yeah. Basically put Jim Jones on the map. But but back to this album. This album was just, it was just like the audacity of Jim Jones to even speak Jay-Z, like or insinuate he's going at Jay-Z was insane. Yeah. Because we all knew that he wasn't like, we was like, yo, that's Cam's man, and like he learned how to rap from Cam and Mace. But still, who the fuck does he think he is? Yeah, it was audacity.
And I think, and I shared that sentiment too, where it was like, yo, Hove was Hove, and like he, Hove had Jay retired and quote unquote retired in 2003, and then 2006 was Kingdom Come. But Jim was the person that would like take every chance to disrespect Jay-Z, and that shit was just unfathomable, especially at that time where he's like in his years of like just praise and respect. For this nigga to be coming out and being like, how you making songs like 30 something and you damn near 40, and when you on the beach with chancletas, like he was disrespectful, and it was like, yo, I never heard nobody talk about Jay like this.
Saying he can't dress. Yeah. Saying that he looks like Pee Wee Herman.
Saying he an old ass man, and he kept calling him old head, and then you could tell it really got under Hove's skin because nobody used to talk to him like that. Yeah, and him even remixing.
I felt like Dame Dash was feeding him jokes.
Yeah, him even remixing We Fly High was crazy. It's like, bro, you responding to Jim Jones? Like, it's crazy. And then Jim was smart because he did a response to the response. Yeah. So he was like, yo, every time they play it in the club, they got to play him, and then they going to play mine.
Yeah. And then the Giants made it their fucking theme song that year they won the Super Bowl. Bro, it just didn't stop.
Yeah. Jim was on fire, and this was like this was the calm before the storm for Jim Jones. So for the album itself, at that time, as far as how I feel about it, so this is the year that I graduated high school. I graduated earlier that year because this came out in August. But I was familiar with the big songs on here. Like, you had Harlem. Harlem was big. I heard that often. I heard the What You Been Drinking on more than anything because it had Puff and it had Paul Wall. And Paul Wall was everywhere in 2005.
Have you seen Jaja lately?
No, I have not. That's it? That's all you got? How is Jaja looking right now? Should I Google this?
It's just, well, I mean, it's not. I guess it is in hindsight. It's just that one, I didn't know. Like, I knew that Jaja was a part of the community, but I didn't know that like she.
Oh.
I didn't know that like she was so hardcore. Like I didn't know.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Wow, she looked like young M.A.
She just like Stoop from The Wire.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was like that.
Holy shit.
I didn't know that she was like that. Like when I'm saying like that, y'all, I'm not saying that like she was lesbian. I knew that she was a lesbian. I didn't know that like she dressed like a tomboy because she was dressing like very like girly.
Yeah.
At that time back then, so I was just like, yo, what the fuck happened?
Wow.
Like, lately, that just threw me off. Seeing that from like where. Like you remember her like when she first dropped and shit like that.
Yeah. She was wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm glad she's doing okay.
Yeah, she's doing good, man. She's still making music. I think her and Jim Jones don't get along, but she didn't know that.
Shit happens. So as far as Into the Fold of this actual album, are there any standouts for you?
I actually wrote down my favorites and my dislikes.
Okay.
My Diary, G's Up, Harlem, Ride With Me, Somewhere in Miami, Penitentiary Chances, Baby Girl, and Confront Your Babe are the songs that like are like standouts for me. Songs like Confront Your Babe with Max B on the hook are just very memorable to me because like that was just something that like a lot of like me and my friends at home just really enjoyed about Max B, and I think like that's something that like Wiz Khalifa has touched on. As far as like him like becoming like a big him and Currency becoming like big Max B fans. The melody that he had on some of these songs, like as far as like the hooks, was amazing. I think that him and Jim Jones probably would have like been able to like give us like amazing music if they didn't fall out. But I just think that Jim Jones was just extremely an ambitious person, and it's a lot of things that he didn't understand about music and like where he's about the music industry and where he stood. And I think that like certain business decisions that he made was bad, and then Max B was doing a lot of things out of desperation because he was fighting for his life in jail, and put him in a bad predicament. And I think he made the mistake of thinking that because him and Jim was friends, Jim was going to look out. That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I'm sorry being long-winded, y'all, but it's just that I know a lot of information. So I just be trying to like share with y'all what I know.
I think as far as, so for me, there's really not much on this album that I enjoyed. So G's Up is amazing. Love G's Up, love the beat. It's produced by Pete Rock, which was very surprising for me to see, actually. I don't think I knew that until I was listening to this album again.
Oh, man, even that opening sample.
Yeah. That was Dionne Warwick, I think. This song or that song was great, but then this was also around the time that the Lox were beefing with 50. Yeah. And D Block did this over. They rapped over G's Up and called it D's Up. Pause. Pause. But that was amazing. It was a great song. This is crazy. It's a crazy title. Like, how you call it that? I mean, I get it. Like back then, I didn't think about it like that, but I get it. D Block. I'm guessing he means D Block. I want to believe he's talking about D Block when he say that, right? But it was a great freestyle. I still remember.
It's crazy.
The call him 40 Cent now because he dropped that dime. That was over. That shit was. What a time. And then so G's Up stands out to me on this album. And what else? Harlem, obviously I said. Summer with Miami. Tupac joint is dope. Tupac joint is a great closer to the album. I like Tupac joint.
As much as you hate Tupac, you hate the Outlaws, I'm shocked.
I like Tupac joint because it's like, and then there's a song on here that Hell Rel outshines him on. Penitentiary Chances.
Penitentiary Chances, absolutely.
Yeah, Penitentiary Chances. I was like, oh shit, like Hell Rel went off on this.
I'm gonna tell you something else. If somebody would have told me in 2005 all of the things that we have seen that have transpired within Dipset, from the video of Hell Rel getting into the fight in the restaurant, from what happened with Jimmy at Rucker Park and like French Montana put out the video, right? Him getting into the beef with Max B, him and Kim having so many fallouts, like all of these things, like him signing to Roc Nation and being around Jay-Z. Like, if somebody would have just told me like all of these different things, right, I wouldn't have believed them. If somebody would have told me that, like, Joel Santana, like, you know what I'm saying, like, he will be at where he's at, like, he's not standing next to Wayne as big. Like, in 2005, when I'm talking about timestamp, in August of 2005, when this project dropped, when I bought it, if you would have told me all of these things are going to happen in, like, the next, like, 20 years, I was like, yo.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't believe you.
Because these niggas, they were so, like, they was a unit. Like, they felt like a unit. It felt like, I think, and that goes to speak for that time frame of rap too, and in every region. So like with them, over here, Dipset was very much a unit. G Unit was very much a unit. D12.
Yeah.
Like all these people, they like all moved together, and it felt real. It felt authentic. And now there's a lot of separation. You know, you still got Jim. That I feel like he cares about rap. I feel like his ear only refined from this time frame because now years later you got to see him as like an engineer, or like years later it came out that of like how involved he was with the process.
Yeah.
And people didn't really know that, and I think they respected him more, like off of that.
I think the thing that that he benefited from is that he was a fan first. And for him being a fan and like actually, like I bet you that he could probably like sequence like a hell of a mixtape.
Hell yeah,
like, you know, and all like projects. And I just think like he had like that gift, and he was able to like just figure it out and like know he knows what a good album sounds like.
Yeah,
and that's why like his projects are always so like solid to me. Like from the beat selection, from the people that he chooses to like work with.
Yeah.
Like he obviously has like an eye for talent as well. Like because like him making sure that like, you know, like him grabbing up Max B, mind you, nigga, like Cameron and Max B, like they know each other like for a very long time. Max B is from Cameron's block. Cameron, you know what I'm saying? Like he worked with him, but like Jim was like the one that was like, yo, we gonna make you the next one. Like,
yeah.
You know? So it's like Jim has that vision, and it's happened a couple other times, just that like certain things just don't happen right with the business. So Jim has an eye for things, and he understands things a lot better than some people who are actually like musicians.
Yeah,
he understands from both sides of the street. So I think he doesn't get that due where he should.
Yeah, I think he doesn't come up enough in the conversation. You know how in rap, at least in the later years, people like to talk about like, oh, this person's ear for beats is this and that, and they always say Ross. Yeah. Or they say Game. I hear people say Game, or they say Fat Joe. I've heard people say Fat Joe. Jim doesn't come up in that conversation because people don't respect him as much as a rapper. But I think he don't care about that. I think he wants to be respected more as, you know, the engineer, the guy that like puts shit together, but then he raps because he knows how to sound and to compliment it.
Jim just be on the receiving end of unfortunate situations, and it always kind of like bites him in the ass in the long run. So
yeah. But I do like that from this album. He took himself more serious as a rapper. I think like in the later years, like his project with Harry Fraud, the Jim Jones, the Gangsta Grills that he dropped was solid. That track with Migos in particular, like that came on my shuffle, ironically, recently, and I was like, damn, like this is good. And I know he's involved with the process. But back into the fold of this album, a lot of the production is just so so dated. Like on Jimmy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The production is just fucking wrecked. Like it's terrible.
It's funny that you say that because it's like like there's certain beats that Jim will pick and you just be like you listen to it and it's like yo this is very dated and like all right cool I'll get it. Like I feel like Jim's like one of the last rappers to do the name songs.
Yeah.
And it was like
which I used to really like. I used to really like the name songs.
I used to love that shit too. But like you could tell like all right. I see Jim don't like he just wants to put his name in the hat of the name songs.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work for him. And like that beat is like terrible.
That beat is terrible. Fucking We Just Ballin' is terrible. What You Been Drinking On actually made me wish that Puff was involved more with this album. It would have been way better if Puff was involved. Because he's on this song.
I know, but Jim couldn't afford him, and Jim wasn't nice enough at that time for Puff to just to executive produce it for free, like how he did with Dip.
Oh, okay, I get that.
Like,
he executive Nip shit for free?
Mm-hmm.
That's fire.
He had to pay for it. Puff ain't want no money.
That's fire.
Or maybe he just didn't feel that gym shit. He was like, I'll give you one for Harlem.
Yeah. Because he knows how it looks
Yeah.
that he's involved on a Harlem album. Yeah. For the look, if anything. But I mean, I feel like that's pretty much it on this album that I like.
Jeez.
There's 3 or 4 songs on this album that I like.
I think it's all right. So for me, the way the album starts off was pretty strong, in my opinion. Especially the way it was sequenced. Like you get the intro, then you get the phone call from Zeke, right?
Wait, you like that intro?
The intro first song, the record, yeah.
That intro is terrible.
Like it's, I guess. Well, I'm gonna tell you. Like I said, it's like a nostalgia thing or whatever. Like
okay.
That. Like I respect you saying that it's not good, but I'm just telling you. For me, I understand if so. Like I won't even argue with you.
Yeah. Because ironically, Pac's version is great for the Above the Rim soundtrack. Amazing. Fire. It's crazy. So y'all can leave me alone with the Pac shit because I can be objective. I can say shit. I can recognize when shit is dope. It just be a lot of shit that I don't like.
I just like I cannot believe of all the songs in this project. That's the one that's funny. But yeah, so in the way it's sequenced and then it goes into that, right? So it goes. It just makes me think like, damn, like all right, cool. My diary, Z's phone call, G's up. Amazing. To me, that's an amazing way to start it off, especially like like I said, my friend Eli at the time he had just got his G35 coupe. And like we would literally just drive around Harlem and shit. Like it was a good feeling. It was a pretty cool feeling, whatever. Like that. Feeling like, all right, cool. He's in his G35 Infinity coupe, and we riding around trying to like meet girls and stuff like that. It was a good feeling. Good feeling. Yeah. With our bedazzled belts.
Oh, you had one?
Oh yeah.
What was that shit? What was it called? The what was that belt called that everybody used to wear around their necks and shit?
I didn't do that. But I had a bedazzled belt. I had Robin jeans. I forgot the name of that shit. But I had Robin jeans. I had True Religions. I had bootcut True Religions, bootcut Robin jeans, Citizens, Rocket Republics.
Did you have the rhinestones on your Yankee fitted?
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I didn't do that. Like I guess like for me the belt was enough.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is like I've always been the same way with my hats, particularly like. I don't like to put extra things like on them that can fall out because it looks stupid. Like when the rhinestone falls out,
it looks crazy.
Missing, it looks crazy.
Over. Yeah.
So I didn't do that, but there's a lot of things. I was doing like the V-neck white T-shirts.
Oh yeah.
I started doing fitted shirts. When I had a little less jiggle, everything was tight up here.
Did you do the rosaries?
I didn't do the rosaries because I had a real chain, so I didn't do rosaries and stuff like that. I didn't do rosaries. What else I did? It's a few other things I didn't do, but yeah, I was absolutely wearing black Nike boots in the dead middle of summer with some Robin jeans on. I didn't do the bike chain.
Okay.
I didn't do the wallet chain.
Yeah, the wallet chain.
Yeah, because I didn't see the necessary part of that. But there's certain elements that I actually liked. There's certain elements that I just couldn't get jiggy with. But there's a lot of things that I took a kin to from Jim.
I think more so my fashion sense kicked in maybe 2 years later in the sense of like I was heavy into the blog era of dressing, and shout out to the It's the Real guys for this.
Shout out to It's the Real Eric
for this
Jeff.
For this podcast, man. This podcast is fucking amazing. It's just unpacking the blog era. But anyway, like one of the prominent things in the blog era was when you had a wallet that was like in the front, like on like that you clip to your belt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I used to do that all the time. It's fucking stupid. When I look back I see photos, I'm like, oh, this is stupid. Like a very expensive wallet just hanging in the front.
I don't think it's not that bad, man. It's not as bad as bedazzled belts.
Yeah, I can't do no bedazzled belts.
And it's crazy because it's like, like I had those grandmothers that would be like, pull up your pants. So it's like, I just have to just stay out all day because I didn't feel like coming into adjusted because it was just so, mind you, because those pants was kind of difficult to like just keep around your waist and shit like that. So just to make sure like you had your pants properly like hanging off and shit with the belt buckle and the tee, it just was a lot. It was a lot of work. It was like a balance in that. I'll tell you that.
It is a lot. I can imagine. like the Passion Times, man. But
Yeah, man.
Jim influenced a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. He was influential, and then even going back to like what he said about Pusha was kind of crazy. Well, it was kind of crazy. But do you feel like Pusha? Do you feel like people was trying to dress like Pusha? Because I saw outrage with that. I don't feel like people was trying to dress like Pusha.
I think what people make the mistake is that like Pharrell kind of gets all of the credit for a lot of the stuff with like Bape and like the skater wear, and I think that people don't understand that like people were like looking at what Pharrell wore, but like also looking at what the clips were. It's just that they were kind of like it was like Pharrell presents the clips. So, but like no, a lot of people was fucking because there's certain big things that Pusha T and Miles wore that Pharrell never wore that people were like getting because of them. So it's like they actually are in that realm. It's just that some people know and some people don't.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends from Harlem, like when I had that conversation, they was like, well, we was fucking with Babe because Wayne wore in the Hustler music video. And I was like, well, that's what a whole fucking... And they said a Hustler music video and the Complex magazine cover. And I'm like, well, that's what a whole Mr. Me Too argument came from because...
He got that from them.
When they went to New Orleans and record what happened to that boy with Birdman, like, you know, and like Pharrell was working with them and shit like that. Like, it was a good working relationship and they gave, you know, them like a lot of swag because it was in the process of helping Wayne, like, build his solo artist image. And like Birdman had started letting Wayne rap about other things besides New Orleans shit. So it's like a whole back and forth. It's kind of just like if you know, like you really know, but like so like I had like shout out to my boy Eli. He basically said like he was like he basically said like Pusha T is like a nobody, and essentially he was like that nigga rap good, but he's a nobody. And like I had to just realize like I was like, you just don't know. Like I just had to leave it at that. Like you, like I get impassioned about shit, but like, and y'all know how much I love Pusha T. I really had to just look at him and be like, okay, you just don't know. There's just no convincing you any different.
I have those moments all the time because I have a very opinionated older brother. So when we have conversations and in the middle of it, of me talking, I'll just stop and I'll be like, yeah, no, there's no point to this because I'm not going to change your mind. This is just going to keep going. It's just going to snowball into something else. And he's never going to see where I'm coming from because he's so fixed in what he believes.
I made the biggest mistake of getting into an argument with your big brother. Oh my God. That shit lasted 3 days. Yeah, no,
it's not going to go anywhere. That's just who he is and what he believes. Shout out to CJ. Yeah. But as far as this album, I already named my likes and dislikes. You named your likes. I don't think you named your dislikes.
Sure, I can give you my dislikes. The Tupac joint is number 1. I'm in love with a thug, terrible. Honey Dip, terrible. Just Ballin', terrible. What You Been Drinking On, I think, is a bad song. What Is This, bad song, and Jimmy, bad song.
I think What Is This would have sounded much better with Joel's on it.
Yeah, man. Like, I even wrote it. We Ballin' Sucks. Like I just wrote that out. Like
I wrote I'd never listen to this. That's what I wrote.
I just
this laugh.
I just couldn't believe it. Like I don't know. Okay. So Penitentiary Chances, we gotta talk about this. Like especially since we talk about a Harlem rapper, right? There's a verse where Jim Jones says, "I got the D on my ass right now."
That's crazy.
He was talking about the undercover detective.
It don't even matter what he talking about. That's insane. I feel like in some alternate universe or when this album was being made, Cam probably heard this and was like, "I'm not gonna be on this album. I'm not gonna be on this album. Go ahead, put it out, but don't even mention me." Like, yo, if you put this out, don't mention me.
If I'm not, I could be wrong. I don't think Cam has appeared on the Jim Jones album. Solo album.
I think he's on. No, he's on Capo.
He's on Capo. Okay,
he's on Capo.
Okay,
yeah.
I've listened to. Actually, I listened to Capo, but like one time.
Yeah, Capo's a good album.
But yeah, I don't live with Jim Jones albums anymore. I just checked out on him. Yeah. But yo, like think about that. That's 10 years. It took him 10 years to give Cam a feature. To give Jim a feature.
Yeah, because he didn't have it figured out yet. This is the early state. That's why I think I also wanted to do this album because this is this is also the early stages of him coming into his own, you know. And I'm glad he found his way because this early shit, man. And if you guys can't tell by now, my rating is not gonna be that great.
I got the D on that.
It's crazy. But okay, let's get to your rating. I want to hear this rating.
I give it 2 out of 5 waffles.
Okay.
For this album, like it wasn't. You got to think about it. Jim Jones was a person who kind of did everything on his own. As far as like he went and got a fucking solo record deal, had no proof that he could be a good rapper, and you know he literally just he kind of just wing binged it. So I tip my hat off to that man.
Okay, I give this a 1.5. 1.5 out of 5 waffles.
Jesus Christ. This is the lowest rating you've ever given an album.
I think it probably is. I think so.
And you wanted to do this album.
I wanted to do this album because I really wanted to listen to a Jim Jones album. It's been a while, especially an early Jim Jones album.
I really feel like if you would have told me that, I would have picked a way better album. But I guess maybe this just makes for good content.
But I genuinely went into this album trying to, I wanted to listen to the early makings of Jimmy as a rapper. And this album made me appreciate where he is now. Like, because I think he came such a long way. I think back then he was just trying it out, and then he kind of learned his way as he went on. Because his catalog only got better, which is great. He got later made songs like Emotionless, which I love.
Right.
So I appreciate Jim for where he is now. And he's experimenting more. And that little bag that he had around this time where he was working with all these Southern artists was great. He had DJ Unk.
He was taking the 50 Cent route.
Yeah, DJ Unk, Rich Boy. He was working with all these people back then. He had all these features. It was great. I got to see him kind of like, dust himself off and try some shit. But this album just didn't do it for me. He got some songs on here that I like, but the only one that I will revisit is Summer with Miami. That's like the golden goose of this album. That was the only reason why I wanted to do this album. Because I was like, well, let me just check this out, see how this is. It's such a strong title. Harlem, Diary of a Summer. It's so like...
Yeah, Harlem Summers are crazy.
Let me get into this. Like, it made me excited to want to get into it. And I don't think I got much from it, Well, no, I don't. Not that I don't think. I didn't get much from it.
Damn, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But... that's not to compare it to his recent onslaught of words about the current rap game and anything like that. Completely separate from that, because I like Jim's perspective. I like hearing him speak about shit. But yeah, I don't need this album.
Disrespect to God.
I don't need this album.
Crazy.
We can close out on that. Do you got anything else to add?
We can close out. We can finish up.
All right, but okay, don't take my rating as like end all be all. I encourage y'all, as always, for the past 200 episodes, we always encourage you guys to listen to the album yourself, give it your own rating, see how you feel. Come back to us, let us know how you feel. Rank, subscribe, like, let us know how you feel. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
We are out of here.
Thank you, guys.
Dipset.